I am seeing people who have always voted Labour saying they are never going to vote Labour again. The two-party politics is dead. The Tories just don't even feature. Labour is in serious trouble. So you're beginning to see a wholesale shift in politics.
We've been following closely three-horse race between Reform UK, the Greens and Labour. And joining us to, try to unpick what's going on is Reform UK's chairman, David Bull. David, good morning.
A very good morning to you.
Thank you so much for staying up for us. I suspect it's going to be a long night. The Greens seem pretty confident of their chances. Have you lost it?
It's too close to call. I've actually been talking to people on the ground at the count. Everyone is saying it's far too close to call. It's clearly a three-way marginal. But let's just remember, this is Labour's sixth safest seat on our list of priorities. This is 440 for us. So actually, this really should be a two-horse race between the Greens and Labour. The very fact we're still on the pitch is extraordinary. It shows what is going on in British politics. I think Labour is in serious trouble. I think pretty much that's what we're hearing across the board. That is what we're hearing on the ground. I'm deeply concerned about the allegations of electoral fraud, and we've heard about that family voting, and obviously that's something we take very seriously indeed. But obviously, in terms of the count itself, they're still verifying those votes. I don't think the full count has even started. This could be a very long night, and actually I think it's very, very close.
If you do not win it, though, is that a sign you are losing momentum? Because you've talked about the polls a lot. Nigel Farage has talked about the polls a lot.
Yeah.
But it doesn't seem that whilst you are still leading in almost all polls, or every poll I've seen, you can't break beyond the 35% mark. Some polls have you going backwards. Have you hit your ceiling?
No, not at all. I mean, if we come second, I'll be delighted. The fact is that we're still there. I mean, it's extraordinary. So actually, we're doing incredibly well across the country. As chairman, I've been around the country for the last 7 months. I've seen 7,000 people in working men's clubs, in pubs, in community centres and so on. What is really interesting in this election in Gorton and Denton, I've been on the doorstep for the last 4 weeks. I am seeing people who have always voted Labour saying they are never going to vote Labour again. The two-party politics is dead. The Tories just don't even feature. Labour is in serious trouble. So you're beginning to see a wholesale shift in politics. One of the other things that I'm quite intrigued about is the Green vote and who is voting Green. I think it's very disingenuous that they are going for the Muslim vote, the 33% Muslim vote there. They are translating their leaflets into Urdu. What sort of country are we living in when we have sectarian politics alive and well? You know, the whole thing that should bind us together is being British and actually community cohesion. This is not a good place for the United Kingdom.
We will put questions to the Greens in just a second. I mean, there's lots of talk of tactical voting, especially after the Caerphilly by-election in the Senedd last year, where Plaid pipped you, Reform UK, to the post there. Why do so many voters want to stop you getting into power, that they're willing to hold their noses, swallow their pride and vote for parties they don't align with, just because of how much they don't want you to get in?
Well, you see that across the board in every election, don't you? I was in Caerphilly, actually. If you remember, on the eve of Caerphilly, there was a poll out showing us that we would win, and that is what galvanised those people to lend their votes to other parties. I think it's a travesty. I personally would like people to vote for the party they most want, as opposed to voting for parties they least like, or at least that tactical voting. But look, I'm thrilled with the way that Reform UK is heading. You know, if you look back 5 years ago when we founded the party, we were at 2-3%. We're now at 31% across the board. I count the number of MPs every single week just to check how many more I've got. So we are making incredible progress. So for us, this is quite an interesting seat for us in many ways. But as we come to other by-elections, if there is one in central Suffolk, if there is one in northeast Somerset, if these other by-elections take place, these are going to be much, much easier for us. So this is always going to be difficult, 440 on that list. So actually, I'm incredibly enthused.
David, I'm just going to bring in Adam Bolton.
I just wonder if you are having some regrets about the candidate you chose, Matthew Goodwin.
No, not at all. I mean, Matt's a great campaigner. He's actually, to be very fair to Matt, he's been out every single day. He's been absolutely throwing it down with rain. I know what you're sort of guessing at. Matt is an academic. He has some robust discussions. I've had them with him. But actually, his heart's in the right place. He cares deeply for the people that he purports and hopes to represent. I think he was a good choice of candidate. I think Labour has completely messed this up. And I'll be really candid, if they'd gone for for Andy Burnham, they would have won. And that is what I heard on the doorstep. But actually what people said is they can't vote for Labour if it is Keir Starmer putting his job above the party and the party's interest.
Well, on the other hand, I mean, the other reason why the National Executive blocked Andy Burnham was presumably also because they didn't want to face an election for the mayoral seat in Greater Manchester, and that might have some logic behind it.
It may well do, but obviously Andy Burnham is clearly not happy and is on manoeuvres, and he wants to get back into Parliament. I mean, clearly he sees himself as the next leader of the Labour Party. I think you'll probably agree with me that Keir Starmer is in position, he is in office, but he's definitely not in power. And if Labour comes last tonight, which I'm hearing is likely, possible, then I think Keir Starmer will be out probably sooner rather than later. I think Labour is in terminal decline.
David, we've had election observers, democracy volunteers raising what they say are serious concerns about family voting, which is, just to remind people, where multiple people go into a voting booth together. It's illegal under election law. Should the Electoral Commission be investigating?
100%, 100%. Nigel talked about this in 2015 in Oldham. We saw it in Peterborough as well. I think that was 2019. Richard Tice and I were in Tower Hamlets. We've seen this throughout the years, and yet this is a very worrying trend. And if these allegations are right, and it seems that they probably are right, this is an affront to democracy. It's a criminal offence. It shouldn't happen. And of course, it needs to be referred. This must be stopped. What I don't understand is how on earth these officials at polling stations are letting two people into the voting booth together, because this should be between you and the ballot paper. It is a secret ballot. It is for you to express your democratic right. You know, something terrible is happening to our democratic system, and it is simply not right. It's not fair. It's unlawful, and it needs to stop.
We should say Manchester City Council say that polling station staff are trained. They've seen no such issues today, and they say that democracy volunteers should have got in touch with them earlier in the day. We will be trying to get to the bottom of it throughout the day. Just slightly away from the by-election, David Bull, Simon Evans, your deputy leader on Lancashire Council. He's the senior councillor who shared a Facebook post which said that the Labour MP Natalie Fleet is, quote, I'm sorry for the language to our listeners, a dozy cow who should be shot. Are you going to suspend him?
Well, so we've thoroughly investigated this. Simon is a great councillor. I know him personally. I've been up to the council a lot. He retweeted I think it was on Facebook actually,
yes,
or he re-messaged the Facebook message without actually reading the text which was accompanying it. So we investigated that thoroughly. We are convinced that he'd meant no harm by that. We've reinstated him in his position, and we consider the matter closed. But look, as chairman,
he didn't see the words that were in capital letters at the top of a Facebook post. There are only about 10 words on the message, and he didn't read it.
But you know as well as I do, people do things in a hurry. They don't read things through. We see it all the time in social media, which is the peril of social media generally. But as chairman, I will not tolerate any discrimination, any behaviour that I believe is intolerant.
You are tolerating it by reinstating him in the senior position.
We're not. We have investigated it. There was no malice, no intention to cause harm, and therefore I'm happy with him staying in position.
David Bull, chairman of Reform UK, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.